Hey friends, it's Sarah, and today I'm talking about my Lightfall TBR. So, as some of you may know, I partake in the Magical Readathon every year, hosted by Book Roast, and there are usually 2 month-long readathons during the year in April and usually in August. This year it was September, but there's also a week-long readathon that happens in December as the holidays start to approach. This year is taking place December 14th to 22nd, so it's just like a short little 9-day readathon. And the idea is basically that as students at the Magical Academy of Orilium, we have like a neighboring kind of village where everyone goes on Christmas break to do shopping or hang out at cafes or whatever. And in order to visit each of these places, you have to complete a prompt. In past years, it hasn't always been to read a book. This year, they're all like book prompts, and then there's also an advent calendar, which I think will be not book prompts. So I'm not sure what that's going to be, but it seems exciting. Depending on when I post this, it's either already started or is just about to start. We'll see how the editing goes. There are 7 different places in the Old Favor Pass, which is kind of like the little town that we can visit. And since there's only 9 days to do it, I don't expect to read all 7 books, but I have prepared a 7-book TBR as an aspirational list of books to read within that week, but my work is super busy right now. It's the busiest season of the year for us at the bookstore, so I don't anticipate reading all 7 of these, but I have options. Let's talk about what books I'm hoping to read within the next 9 days. First up, to visit Wallace's Wonderful Winter Wanimals, I have to read a book with Aurora colors in it. So that's pinks, purples, and or greens. And for that, I have Want by Gillian Anderson. This is a collection of anonymous fantasies from women all around the world, including Gillian Anderson. And it kind of, I think the idea is that it explores women's sexuality and infidelity, what it means to be like a woman or a mother or a wife, and all that sort of stuff that comes through in sexuality. So it seems kind of interesting. I'm not sure why Gillian Anderson's the one to have like collected this and have her name on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this, to be honest. I picked it up because it seemed kind of interesting, but it might be too explicit for me. It does seem to have what identities the people have. So like this one says Irish, atheist. They make between 29,000 and 49,000 pounds a year, heterosexual, married or in a civil partnership, and then if they have children. So I think it kind of explores like the fantasies in context with identity, which seems kind of interesting. But again, having just opened to a page on here and it made me blush already, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. So we might not be visiting that place today, or we might find another book to fulfill that prompt. In order to visit Occult Premonitions, I have to read a book that is set either in the future or in an alternate world. And so I've picked up The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This is a sci-fi sapphic story about a world where they have discovered multiverses and how to travel between them, but you can only travel to a universe where your double has died. And our main character, her doubles are really good at dying, so there's only actually 8 of them around in the world, so she's able to like go to different universes. I think she kind of travels around and can like do work in other universes because there are so few of her. She has like a pretty broad range of universes that she can visit, and there's a sapphic romance in this. Other than that, I don't know too much about it, but it sounds really intriguing. I really am enticed by the premise of this, so hopefully it's good. Hopefully I like it. To visit the Owlcat Craft Cafe, I have to read a cozy book, and I have selected The Door-to-Door Bookstore by Carsten Henn. This is a book translated from German about an old man who works at a bookstore as kind of like a courier, like he handpicks books for a select few clients and then delivers them to their doorsteps. But it sounds like he ends up losing his job and is feeling lost until he like makes a friendship with a 9-year-old girl, and they kind of like help each other in the world. I'm not entirely sure where it goes from there, but it just seems interesting and charming, and critically, it is pretty short. It is under 250 pages, so I feel like this is a good one to be able to like read really quickly if I'm trying to read as many books as possible, which is not really the vibe of this readathon, but is the vibe of all book counting in my heart. To visit Shank and Shawl legitimate retailers, I have to read a book that will give me chills, so that's either like a romance or a thriller. I have gone the romance route, and I want to read The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava. for this prompt. This is about an Indigenous woman who has to lie on her resume and say she's white because she's not been getting any jobs. And she ends up falling for the IT guy at work who is also Indigenous, and they have like an affair, and then they are caught in a compromising position on a work trip, and someone starts blackmailing them that they're gonna like expose their relationship to the company, I think. And so she has to decide whether or not to come clean and tell the truth or let herself be blackmailed. It sounds really interesting, and I've never read a romance with an Indigenous main character before, so I'm really hoping that I enjoy this. It was also a recommendation from a coworker, so fingers crossed. It sounds like it should be good, and I'm really excited to read that one. Then to visit Smith & Friends and Sons Arcane Goods and such, I have to read a book with winter or winter elements on the cover, and I do have a couple Christmas books coming in at the library, so maybe I'll read one of those. But if not, I do have Season of Love by Helena Greer that I DNF'd a couple years ago, but have kept on my shelves because I just think it's so cute. It's got like some little snowflakes and a Christmas tree and everything. So that's the winter stuff, but it sounds really cute and I really want to like it, so I'm hoping to give this a second chance. Maybe, if not this year, hopefully sometime in the future. But this follows Miriam, who has like a very successful art career in a big city, but sadly her great aunt passes away, so she has to come back to sit Shiva and to like mourn with her family. And she also finds out that her aunt made her a part owner of the family Christmas tree farm that they run. And so she's trying to figure out what to do with that, and having to like try to save that business, which she doesn't really want part of. And then she also starts to fall for Noelle, who works at the Christmas tree farm. And it sounds really cute, and I can't remember why I didn't like it. I got like 84 pages in and I just wasn't feeling it, so I did stop reading it, but I'm hoping to be able to pick it up again and enjoy it. In order to visit the Rich Pigeon Pub, I have to read a book with 2 or more authors. I was going to save another Christmas book for this and then forgot about it and read it earlier this month. So instead I'm going to read Billion Dollar Whale by Tom Wright and Bradley Hope. But basically this is about a guy who fooled Wall Street, Hollywood, and the world and stole $5 billion, it sounds like. This is like white collar crime. I love this kind of stuff, like Molly's Game or The Smartest Guys in the Room or Bad Blood. I just find white collar crime really fascinating. It's very enraging, but it doesn't make me feel as bad as like reading about murder and stuff. That's really sad. This stuff is maddening, but it's just a little bit more interesting to me. So it's a pretty chunky book. I don't know if I'll get around to it, but I did have a friend who read it and she enjoyed it, so I'm hoping it's another winner. And finally, in order to visit the Old Tales bookstore, I just have to read a book that I want to read this year but haven't had a chance to. So this is a very vague prompt that's just kind of like, what do you want to read? What have you been meaning to get to but haven't had a chance yet? And for that, I'm going to read One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. I bought this copy. It's a signed copy, and I have been meaning to read it. I've had customers at work tell me they really enjoyed it, and I really love Ruth Ware's books, so I'm really excited about this one. Yeah, so this follows a couple who end up going on a reality TV show on like this deserted island, and then people start dying, and they're kind of like trapped on this island with a murderer, which sounds really interesting. And I'm very excited to see what she does with the reality TV setting. I'm not sure how much that will play into it, but that seems fun too. I do enjoy a good reality TV show book. Those are the 7 books I want to read until the 22nd. We'll see how many I get through. I'd like to get through as many as possible, but you know, it's not a race. It's supposed to be a chill, just like fun holiday thing. Let me know if you're participating in this. I think this is a really fun and like easy way to ease into the magical readathon if you've never done it before. If not, let me know what you're hoping to read for this last month of the year. Any books that you're hoping to catch up on that you haven't had a chance to yet. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Now go read a book. Oh, you can see my little book stack here. Goodbye. This is, I can't remember what this is about. This is some like white collar crime shit that I love.